What's that smell? That's biomass. And that's what we're learning today. Cue the intro. I just thought there'd be a cool intro. Haven't quite figured out how to do that one yet, but hopefully one day I will. So today we're going to be talking about biomass. That's what this is. It's biomass. So let's get right in and start this. Okay? Biomass. What exactly is biomass? It is combustible organic matter. That's what it is, right? Any organic matter, plants, animals, organic matter, anything that can be combusted, essentially burned to get heat. Heat turns water into steam. Steam turns a turbine. Turbine turns a generator. Generators connect to, generator is made up of what two things? A coil of wire and a magnet. Boom, you get electricity. 3% of all energy needs is done by biomass. It's renewable. It's sustainable. So again, what is biomass? It's wood. It's plants. It's animals. It's animal dung. It is trash residue from agricultural and plant mills. It's garbage. Anything that's organic. Ethanol made from sugar or corn. That's biomass. That's plants, right? That's organic. Methane, okay, landfill recovery. Basically what they do, they take this biogas. So in a landfill, right, you have a landfill, and then the material under the landfill starts to break down. As it breaks down, it releases methane. That's why if you've ever driven past a landfill, you'll see that they have like pipes that come up, and those pipes are used to release the methane. So what happens is that the breakdown of material builds up gases. Those gases need to be released. Those gases are methane, and methane is combustible. That's biomass, guys. Now, CO2 emissions. I want you to think about this. If you burn a tree, you're burning wood in your fireplace, right? Are you releasing CO2? And the answer is, bing. Yes, you are. You are releasing CO2. We know any type of combustion releases CO2, but the key word here, guys, look right down here. The key word is net. Net is zero, which means, and this is a huge, huge distinction. When we're talking about burning fossil fuels, as opposed to burning biomass, but you know what? Let's take a trip to the big board, okay? Let's pause this. And we will pick it back up in 1 second. Pause. And let's see. I'm not quite sure if this works, if I've actually paused it or not. So I could be making a fool of myself. We'll never know. So I'm going to change videos. I could be making a fool of myself, and I wouldn't even know. Let's go. Oh, I'm sure I'm making you guys dizzy by now. I'm going to go here. We're going to get us on the big board, like so. Boom. And let's unpause this. Boom, I'm back. So hopefully that worked, and hopefully I just flew from there to there. So let's take a look at this. All right, so I'm sure you guys all saw the schedule already from this morning, so I'm going to erase this. And we're going to take a quick look at what exactly is going on here. So hopefully you guys are actually seeing this up in the corner while you're looking at that. And I'm actually going to take this around, and we're going to stop this share. So, all right, let's bring this right up here. Let's take a seat. So we wanted to look at what the idea was between sharing, or a net carbon emission and not a net carbon emission. You have the ground here, right? And you have these fossil fuels, right? Fossil fuels. Okay, so when you dig down, the fossil fuels here have been down there for millions and millions of years. They've been dormant. They haven't been used. They haven't been circulating through the atmosphere. That's a cloud, right? There's the sun. There's a tree. my cloud and my tree kind of look the same, right? There's a cow. I don't know, moo. That's a cow, right? It says moo. The carbon down here has not been going through the atmosphere. It's just been staying there. It's dormant, it's by itself. The carbon up here, it's been traveling through, right? It goes into a tree, it goes down into grass, the cow eats the grass, the cow goes to the bathroom, it goes back up. We're getting this cycle. Carbon down here is dormant, the carbon up here is cycling. Well, when you burn this carbon right here, you're now releasing it. You're releasing a whole bunch of it. Carbon that hasn't been up here. You're essentially overloading your system. It's kind of like we all feel right now, right? We're getting overloaded with all this excess work. The atmosphere, the hydrosphere, the biosphere, they're getting overloaded when we burn fossil fuels with all this excess carbon. So why is biomass different, you say? Biomass is different because when we burn maybe a part of that tree, when we take the cow poop right there, it's smelling. When we take the cow poop and we burn that in order to make energy, or burn a tree in order to make energy, we're taking the carbon that's cycling through. It's still there. We've just taken it out, we're burning it, but we're putting it back in. It's up here already. It's not dormant. It's up here. It's already in the cycle. So that's how we can say the CO2 that's produced from burning trees or animal waste or anything along those lines, its net CO2 gain is zero because you've essentially taken it out of one form and put it into another. Where this has been dormant for a very, very long time. It hasn't been in rotation, okay? So hopefully that helps you. That's a very, very, very important point. So I cannot stress that one enough. Okay, guys? So I'm not going to pause this one quick. I am going to essentially just take this, take us around. We're going to change into the camera in 3, 2, 1. There I am. And let's go back to looking at this wonderful PowerPoint we have here. So the CO2 emission is 0, very important. Disadvantages, very quickly, you know there's positives and disadvantages. Corn, if we use corn as a fuel, then we're not using it to eat, which means it will increase the price. And as you know, it's very inefficient to grow corn for energy, okay? Let's keep it on. We got biomass to do today, so we're gonna get through this whole thing of biomass. If you look there, right? The scarcity of fuel wood causes people to make fuel briquettes from, get it, read it, see it, cow dung. It's cow poop. Hopefully you heard that. Yeah, cow poop. I mean, this is a real thing. You could take that biomass, it's what it is, and you could actually burn it. You could use it as long as you're getting something to create heat, right? That's it. That's how all power plants work. They create heat, okay? All right, let's move on. So looking at this again, advantages and disadvantages, guys, always, always, always. Some of the advantages, large potential supply of biomass, the net CO2 is 0. Plantation crops help to restore degraded land. You can make use of agricultural timber and urban waste. Disadvantages, with every good, there is a bad. You need to understand this. For every great fabs, there's also sad fabs. Just kidding. So the disadvantages, low photosynthetic efficiency. It means the amount of energy you're going to receive back from the amount of photosynthesis that went in, it's a very low ratio. CO2 emissions, if harvested and burned, is how can I explain this one? You will get more CO2 emissions through the harvesting because you're using fossil fuels to harvest this biomass. So it's not just the act of burning the biomass, it's also the act of harvesting it. Moderate to high environmental impact, often burned in inefficient and polluting open fires, which means if you burn wood in a fireplace, you're still releasing particulates into the atmosphere. You're still polluting in another way. You're releasing particulate or unburned material into the atmosphere. The net CO2 would be 0, which is very important. It's very important. However, you're still releasing different types of pollutants. So keeping on. Converting plants and plant waste into liquid fuels. So we've talked about how liquid is the best type of fuel. So motor vehicles can run on ethanol, right? Biodiesel, your oil that comes to your house, they're all liquids. It's very, very easy to use liquid fuel for that type of transportation needs. Well, we can do that with biomass as well. We can turn it into liquid fuel. Major advantage of biofuels are that crops used for production can be grown almost anywhere, right? Way back when we talked about algae use for biofuels. I know that was in an FRQ, you guys remember. There's no net increase in CO2 emissions. Again, the net increase. If I had a net right now, I'd show you guys a net increase. And it's widely available and easy to store and transport because it is in that liquid form. So just a quick case study. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more slides to go. Just a quick case study. A lot of people use sugar cane and corn and switchgrass as a means for biomass. So those are raw products that can be used. In fact, Brazil, sugarcane is one of their main exports, fuel from sugarcane. Switchgrass, which is what that picture is of, can remove CO2 from the troposphere and store it in the soil. So not only does it remove the CO2, then you could take it and use it as a fuel. So that's a wonderful thing. It'll actually take the CO2 in, you'll use it as a fuel, net will be 0, but also some of that CO2 will be stored in the soil, which will not be burned, okay? Very, very important thing. Case study producing ethanol. 10 to 23% pure ethanol makes gasohol, which can run conventional motors. Okay, it's a type of derivative from ethanol. 85 ethanol, E85, I know you've heard of that before, must be burned in flex fuel vehicles. Okay, it's a type of biomass. Processing all corn grown in the US into ethanol would cover only about 55 days of current driving, which means we drive a whole lot more than we have corn. Okay, and biodiesel is made by combining alcohol with vegetable oil. It's made from a variety of different plants as well. We'll just block that light out. Advantages and disadvantages of the liquid biodiesel or the ethanol. High octane advantages, you got to get a lot of bang for your buck, right? A lot of combustion. High net energy reduces CO2 emissions, can be sold as gasohol, right? A liquid gasoline or a liquid biodiesel. Your disadvantages, large fuel tank needed, okay? Because as we said, it doesn't take you that far. Lower driving range, lower net energy because you're producing it from corn. We just said 55 days with all the corn. It's corrosive, okay? It doesn't necessarily hold up as well as gasoline. And it's hard to start in cold weather because it'll actually gum up a little bit. It's more along the lines of a biodiesel is more along the lines of a diesel. It's very gummy, whereas ethanol is very high in alcohol, which means that it will actually corrode your lines. It will eat away at your lines. The biodiesel bus producing ethanol. Biodiesel has a potential to supply about 10% of the country's diesel fuel needs producing ethanol. And last, the advantages and disadvantages, again, of methanol as a fuel source. You guys can see those, a lot of what we've talked about already. So hopefully that helps you. Make sure to watch these videos on biodiesel. I'm not sure if they're here, or here. There's 2 of them. I'm not quite sure where they are, but they will be here. Click on the quick links and watch the biodiesel videos. It was great to talk to you guys. Enjoy the videos. All right. Bye, guys.